Aloha, Rich Alverson here. This is ITS228, and today is February 24th, and we're in chapter 5 or so. Let me share my screen. Okay, and so here we are. Apparently my picture was not showing up before, so there it is. Assignments. Oh, notice I posted the link to the textbook here and a link to the YouTube video that they also wanted me to do that. So let's start out in assignment 2 because that's someone who was having problems with that. Let me just go over this, and I fixed mine. So I will let me log into my auto grader. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I'll just log into my auto grader, which is SP22ITS228.com. And if I put in my username and password and click on the auto grader for number 2 here, well, that looks like that. Shouldn't there be more than, there's a part 3, isn't there? Oh no, just a part 1, a part 2, 4. Okay, so anyway, so if I click on the first one, while that's working, let's see what we're supposed to do. Okay, so we're supposed to create 2 different versions of the algorithm to determine the top 5 salespeople. The algorithm here is here. Okay, so this is written in this sort of algorithmic language, which is a lot like one of the C's, I guess. But anyway, what this does is you give it a table. You pass it a bunch of salespeople. In fact, you fill up this dictionary with all the salespeople that you have, and and each entry into the dictionary has got a name and a sales total field. Okay, so here we're loading up a dictionary with a bunch of names and a bunch of sales totals, and then it prints it out, and then it runs this display. You pass it this salespeople dictionary here. You pass that to the. It's a list. It's a list, and it's a list of dictionaries. Each item is an actual little dictionary in Python terminology. Okay. Anyway, so your program is supposed to process this list and return to you the top 5, or display out the top 5 salespeople. Okay, so and so the first time you do it, you're supposed to copy this, create a new file and open the file and copy the following code. Okay, so you're supposed to copy this code in here. And if I open up mine, let me go to richardh.its228.com, and I go to my cPanel. And I log in. And I go to my file manager. And I've created my assignments directory. I'm in folder number 2 because it's assignment number 2. This is the first assignment. This is the first one. Let's open it up, take a look at it. And so this is it. And what I've done is I've copied this code over into a file called that, and I should be able to execute the program from the terminal. Initial salespeople should display, list the top 5 sales, the list of the top 5 salespersons will be empty, and okay, so let's see what I've done here. Okay, I added, this is what I added. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna go back up 1 level. I'm gonna change this to 2-working. And I'm gonna create a new 2. And I'm gonna start over again. The complaint that somebody had was that I rushed through explaining this assignment too quickly. And so I'm gonna explain it thoroughly this time. I'm just gonna do it again. Okay, so this is my directory number 2. Let's go and see what this thing is having us do. Copy the following code in and save it as that. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to create this file. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to create a new file called this.py. And there it is. And I'm going to open it up by clicking edit up here. Edit. And here we are. And I'm going to copy this all the way down to here. Copy. And I'm going to go back over to my opened up file that I just created and do a paste. So now it's in here and I'm going to save it to make sure. And then what do I do next? I should be able to execute it from the terminal app. Let's do that. So I'm going to go back to the main cPanel and I'm going to scroll down until I find advanced. And in advanced, there'll be terminal. Now, if I click on terminal here, it's gonna this does not pop out a new window, so a new tab. So I want to make sure it does that. So I'm going to open link in a new tab. In fact, I'm going to open link in a new window. There we go. And I'm going to put this bugger down here. And I'm going to go to I'm going to CD is the same in DOS as it is in Unix, Linux. Change directory to assignments. Here, first of all, I'll show you how to list it. ls-l lists all the stuff in the root in your home directory, and there's assignments. So I'm going to CD to assignments, and then I'm going to if I look in assignments, I see here are all my here are my 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and I can CD to 2. And now when I do ls-l, I see that there's my one file here, and I can run it. I type Python 3, remember to do Python 3 space and then the name of the file. And I think you can just start it like TOP and then do the tab. Yeah, that makes it easier. Enter, and now it runs. And it says, I've got an error here. What's this error? Somebody had this error before. There's an extra curly Q there. That shouldn't be there. Let me go back to here. And oh, look at that. Is that in every one? Ooh, look at that. No wonder somebody. A lot of people got this error. I'm sorry about that. Let's do it twice. And now I'm hoping that when I refresh this, it's fixed. Sorry about that, everybody, but I gotta take all these out of here. Save changes. Let's see what this one does now. Go back to my terminal, and I can just go up arrow and enter again. Did I royally screw that up? No. There's that error. Was that? Anyway, okay, so this is on line 29. 29, huh? Oh, one error there. Let me save this. Is that error here also? Yes, it is right there. Wow, boy, I'm sorry, you guys. This could be the solution to everybody's problem. No, but you know, at this stage of the game in ITS228, we really should be able to there, now it's fixed. We really should be able to see these errors. We should be able to okay, here's where we ran it, and this is what came out. We should be able to look at that and know, and this should be a lot of information, enough information for us to fix it. It's on line 29. It tells us that. This told us it was on line 16, and it puts a little arrow where it got mixed up. And what this is doing is this is the parser. It's going along and parsing your program one character at a time. And each time it goes to and reads the next character, it has to have it has to be a character that it's possible to accept. And so you know, it's going along, it's going to accept all these characters, and then it comes to this character, and this is not a character that it would normally accept. It could accept some more letters, it could accept some spaces, it could accept all kinds of stuff, but not an end of but not an end curly. You can accept an end parentheses, and that's really what should be there. It doesn't know enough to tell us that, oh, you meant that to be an end of parentheses. It doesn't know enough to tell us that because it could be anything. It could be some other thing. But it does know that that doesn't belong there, and that's what it's telling you. So anyway, so let's see what happens now when I run it, because I think I updated it. Okay, here we have an index out of range. We ran it here. It read all these in, and then on line 10 in this method, there's a problem here. What is that? Okay, I think I know where this is headed. If we go here, this thing. Okay, for some reason it ended up being out of range, and it was called here at line 38. So it was called here. And that took us to here, and this is where it got messed up on line 10. 5. Why is the range of 5 a problem? So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And here we're simply printing out the top 5, and it says index range. Okay, so it wasn't here, it was here, and this should print. Oh, I know. There's an error here because this array contains nothing. And right here, I try to print out the first 5 entries of the array, and there are no entries. So of course, I'm going to get an index out of range error. Okay, so this is where my error is. Or no, so this is where I'm supposed to type in my code. So let's see what code I'm supposed to type in here. Go back over to here. It says, you can see we're implementing an array of salespeople. Each dictionary holds a name. Next, translate the pseudocode of this into Python starting at line 6. The bolded portion of the algorithm should be above the 2 for loops that still need to be implemented in Python to generate the list of the top 5 salespeople. Okay, all right. Okay, so I am supposed to enter in the pseudocode description of this. And the pseudocode description of that is, I guess, this. Okay, let's see. I want to see what I did. Okay, all right. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. Oh, this is a pretty hard problem, isn't it? And that's this. Okay, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it here. I'm just going to paste it in. Control V, see what comes up. Okay. All right, now I got to convert this to Python. Is that that's what I have to do, huh? Paste it in right there. Translate it into Python, starting at page line 6. Okay, all right. So for I, this is the length of top sales is 5. So for I in range, I have to say that it's 5. Okay, so for I in range of 5. Set this equal to so the person, there's going to be I'm going to first create a person, and then I'm going to append the person onto this list. So I'm going to create a person here, and I'm going to say the person is equal to this little dictionary. There's going to be a name, and that name is going to start out being nothing because that's what was there. Here, I'm going to do this. Okay, this is where we started. Yep. And I'm going to should actually. Okay, so these are all, this is a comments. These are comments. I'm going to leave these comments, leave these in as comments. In fact, I should leave this whole thing all as comments. It's 2 is a. Okay, so for this part, it's going to be for I in range of 5. I'm going to have a person is going to have a person. I don't have to actually do it this way, but I'm going to make it easier. This person is going to be a little dictionary that's going to have a name field, and that's going to be initialized as 0. That's what this is, as nothing. So it's going to initialize it as nothing, and I'll use single quotes, comma, and then there's going to be a sales total field. So it's got to be in little quotes. And that's going to be 0, I guess. -1. -1, I guess. Close. And so it's this form. It's this format here. These are people. These are actual people. Okay, but we're supposed to fill it up with 5 empty people at first. Fill it up with 5 empty people. So that's what this does. That's what this does in pseudocode, and that's what this does in Python. Oh no, I gotta stick it down to the end of the list. The list is called top sales, append this person. That's how you append a person onto a list. Okay, so that's so now that there are 5 people in here, now when we run this, we can actually run this now, and now it shouldn't be an error. See, there it is. So it printed out the however many 8 people or whatnot that we're going to try to put in there, and then it displays out the top 5 salespeople. It's all empty because all we did was load up the list, and then we displayed out the list. And what we're supposed to do is inside here, we're supposed to go through the list that comes in here. This is the list of everybody, all 9 people or so. And we're supposed to process this. So what ends up in here, are the top 5. Okay, and we're supposed to use, it would like us to use this algorithm right here, okay? And so this exercise is converting this algorithm that we're given in this pseudo language that is just, if you just look at it, it makes sense. You look at that and you convert it into an actual Python, little block of Python code that actually executes correctly. So so we have a for each thing. I'll put it down here. We've got a for it's all the people in here. So and it's in, this is pretty close to Python, but we don't have that word each there. It's just for sales person in all sales persons. That's this thing. So this is going to consist of this. See, we loaded it up, salespeople, and then we call our program that we're working on right now with this as the argument. It is a list. It's a list of these things that comes in here, and now we're going through them one at a time, and each time we're going to do something. Okay, so for each one of them, we're going to, if the sales total is greater than, okay, this is keeping the top, the most ones. Okay, so we're going through, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these that we read in, and we're going to compare it with the bottom one in the list, because this list is going to keep track of the top salespeople, where the highest one is at the top, and then it's the second, then it's the third, then it's the fourth, then it's the fifth. The bottom one is the 5th highest. And so if we come across a new salesperson that's got sales total higher than the bottom one, then we know that this new salesperson should be in the list, and in fact the bottom window is going to get bumped off. It's going to get bumped out. So that's what we do first. First we bump out the bottom person, and then we sort it, and then we resort the list. Okay, so that's the way this algorithm works. We find a salesperson that's had better sales than the bottom one on the current list, Then we replace the bottom one with that person, and then we resort the list so that person gets sorted into the right order, into the right position that he or she should be in, that they should be in. Okay, so so we're going through all the salespeople, and then we got to test to see if this salesperson is bigger, if this salesperson dot no, it's this one. This salesperson it's the this is a dictionary. The sales total. If the sales total of this current salesperson that we're looking at is greater than the bottom one on this list, which is salesperson number 4, which is total sales number, top sales number 4. That's the bottom one. That's the worst one. The lowest sales at the top so far. And that's a dictionary, just like all the other dictionaries. So we're going to address that field of the dictionary the same way. So if the sales total of this new salesperson that we're looking at is greater than the bottom one of the list that we have currently, then we simply want to replace that bottom one with this one. So we would just do top sales of 4 is now equal to our new salesperson. Okay. Then once we're done with that, we're going to resort this bad boy. Let's see. Okay, so we've gone through, we've gone through. So we do this each time. We put the new one in there if it's there. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna sort right here because we only have to sort if we put a new person in there. We don't have to sort if we don't put a new person in there. So here we put a new person in there. So now we're going to sort. Now, how do we sort? Let's see. What do I have in my? Oh, it's just a Python sort. Where's my Python sort? Top 5 salespersons. What did I do with? I'm looking at the right. I'm looking at the right one here. I know. Go up. This one. This one. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, now okay. All right, so so once I've replaced that last one with this new one, then I have to sort here, and here I can just do a sort. That's right. I told you how to do this because it's too not. Replace this. So I'm talking about this point right here. Okay, that's this thing right here. So this if statement checks to see if this new salesperson's sales total is better than the lowest person on the list in the top sales list. If it is, it sets the top sales slot number 4 to this new salesperson, and we can just do that with one assignment. And then after that, it sorts it in descending order. Now, how do we sort in descending order in Python? Well, I just tell you how to do that. See, I tell you how to do that. And I say do it with this statement here. Copy. And so we're just going to put that right here. Okay, and I'll explain these lambda functions to you sometime, but I'm not going to explain them to you now. But what we're doing is we're using the sort function, but we're specifying where to find the key to sort on. And normally, if we're just doing a sort, we're just sorting a list of numbers, and the key that we're sorting on is the actual value itself. Well, in this case, it's not a list of numbers. It's a list of little dictionaries. And so you can't just compare if one dictionary is bigger than another. You have to compare a particular field in the dictionary. So you have all these little dictionaries, and you're comparing to see which dictionary is bigger than the other. Well, what you look at is the sales total field of the dictionary. And so this lambda function is a way of specifying that in the item that you're looking at, we're looking at this one. In item I, we're looking at the sales total field of item I. And by the way, we want to do it in descending order, so that's what the reverse equals true. We want to do it in reverse order. Okay. So, and this is only going to sort when we've added when we've replaced that bottom one. And so we replace the bottom one, and then it gets all resorted in order again, and then we're ready to come back around and look at the next salesperson. So anyway, let's save this, and this just might work. Is this me? Is this somebody? Oh, it is me. Oh, this is me from before. All right, let me just start this again. Am I in here now? Good. So now I'm going to do this one. Okay, so anyway, so while this is working, and so we'll come back to it. The next thing we're supposed to do is reload this. Okay, now it's got some data in there. So now what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to take this code, and instead of doing this, that is, instead of doing this, I want you to use this to do this instead. And what this is, the way this works here is, instead of you just putting it at the bottom and then resorting, calling this other routine, this other method here to resort it, instead of doing that, you're going to start by putting it on the bottom, and then you're going to finish. You're going to look at the second to the bottom one. And if this new thing that you're adding is bigger than the second to the bottom one, then you're going to replace it. And then you're going to look at the third from the bottom. And if this new one you're adding is bigger than the third of the bottom, then you're going to replace it. Instead of replacing it, though, you're just going to exchange. You're going to switch places. So you start by putting it at place number 4, and if you're bigger than 4, you switch places with 4. And then you go to check number 3. If you're bigger than 3, you switch places with 3. And then you check number 2. If you're bigger than number 2, you switch places with 2. You keep on going until you can't switch places anymore, or until you get to the top. Okay. And so we do that with every one of them that's coming in, and at the end we should have at the very top. So anyway, let's go back to this algorithm right here. And how did we do? We see this is where we put that sort thing in there. How do we do? Okay, good. We got all the points. And you can take a look at here and see how I test it. But you see, this is where we added this code to replace this here. All right, so that's number two. So let's go to let's go to the second one. And for the second one, we're supposed to make a copy of it and call it salespersons 2. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure these are all saved. It is. I'm going to close it. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to make a copy, and I'm going to call it top 5 salespersons 2.py. And I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to edit it. And what I'm supposed to do in here is at the bottom of the second for loop of the algorithm resorts top sales in descending order. So the smallest sales total is at sales total 4, and the largest is at the top. Instead, since sales total is sorted before the new salesperson is inserted, the new salesperson can be inserted into the sales total the same way a new element is added to a sorted list in the inner loop of an insertion sort algorithm. Remember, this is about sorting. And so if we go back up to this, oh, here it is down here. So this is an insertion sort algorithm. You can see this on figure 3.5.1 in your textbook. This is the outer loop, and this is the inner loop. And so what we do is we start at the very top, and at the very top we have just one element, right? We just have one element, and then we have a bunch of elements below it. Well, that one element is sorted, because by definition, if you just have one element in your list, then that's already sorted. And then we try to add a second element, and so we're adding a second element to an already sorted list. So we can start at the bottom and keep on trading places if what we're adding is smaller. This is a sort where it's going to be the smallest ones at the top and the biggest ones at the bottom. So each time you put in something that's smaller than the one above it, you switch places, and that's what this is doing here. This is switching places, and this is decrementing. So what this does is this starts with the range is from 1 to the numbers that they're still numbered from 0 to something. So the first one is index 0, then index 1. So we start with J is the first one that's the first unsorted element that we're going to push up into the sorted list, and we see this loops if the one that we're looking at is less than the one if the new one that we're trying to add is less than the one that's just above it, then we want to switch places with it, and that's what this is. This switches places, and then we follow that one. We follow this one that we just switched places, and we keep on looking at the one above it until we have swapped it into its proper place. So anyway, it's this code that we're gonna do that. We're gonna replace this code right here. Right here. So I'm gonna kind of do this. I'm gonna put this right here because I'm just gonna convert this. Let's see. So we start out with we are basically at index 4, because 4 is the Okay, so we've put this new individual in slot number 4. So slot number 4, so slots 3, 2, 1, and 0, they're sorted, but it's the slot number of this new one in slot number 4 that might not be in its right position. Okay, so so we're starting at j equals 4. Starting at j equals 4. And then while this is legal Python, while j is greater than 0 and numbers, no, this would be not numbers, it's sales, top sales for of sales total is less than, if that one is less than this one, but it's -1, then if it's true that this one is smaller than the one above it, then we want to exchange. Well, now remember, this code is sorting in descending order, and we want to sort in ascending order. We want to sort the opposite way. So as you might guess, we don't want to exchange when j is less than j minus 1, or we don't want to exchange when the one we're trying to add in has a smaller sales than the one above it. We want to exchange if the one that we're trying to add in has bigger sales than the one above it. So we want this to be bigger. This is a bigger, not littler. And so if that's the case, then we can just exchange these two. It turns out in Python, you can just do something like this. You don't need a temp. In Python, you can do something like this. You can do this equals the opposite. So it would be sales total is equal to minus 1, and -1 is equal to j. You can do that in Python. I don't know of any other language that you can do this, but you're exchanging j and j minus 1. You're just exchanging them, and you can do it this way. You say this one, the j comma j minus 1 is equal to j minus 1 comma j. So anyway, that does the exchange, and oh, it's going to be indented because we are Python. We need to indent to indicate that it's a block underneath. And so while j is greater than 4, do that. And we got to do j equals j minus 1. Gotta make sure we have that in there. So each time it's going to go down to 0. And I think that's probably all that we need to do. Then that will bubble into place. I'm going to save the changes, and I'm going to go back and see if I can run number 2 now. This might work. Okay, let's see what I didn't get right. Return and list dictionaries format. Oh, I didn't return it in the right format. Okay, let's see. Top sales. Print that. The names did not get set. You notice the names did not get set. So I wasn't able to identify any of these sales totals because they didn't have a name attached to them. And that is likely because I did not, when I did this exchange, I got to exchange the names too. And I think to do that, I don't need to, I can just exchange objects. So this was silly. I didn't need to even put these in here. I'm just exchanging objects themselves. So why just exchange the fields of the objects? I can just exchange the objects themselves. And I'm sure that this will correct this. So I'm going to refresh this. And that took quite a while. You need to have patience. But anyway, I got all the points. So I'm going to end this video now and start a new one talking about assignment 3, the next assignment. All right, so that was, I've just covered assignment 2 pretty thoroughly, and I hope that helps. Thanks for watching.